I'm Michael Ward, founder and CEO of Paminga. Thanks for joining the webinar. Today, Grace Harbison, Senior Director of MOPS at Circle CI, CloudBees, and Optimizely, is going to walk us through the creation of all the assets to promote the next webinar in this series. So this will be the first in a 5-part series. Love to see you on future ones. With that, I'm going to move right on to Grace so we can spend as much time in the product as possible. Ms. Harbison, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. I am going to go ahead and share my screen and we will hop into it. So as Michael said, the goal of today is to walk through, I'm quite literally going to be creating assets for the next session in this webinar. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to find you all, and then I'm just really going to dive in. All right. So what I've got pulled up here is my marketing campaign. We are all familiar with this in the marketing operations space. Thanks to my marketing team for prepping all this information. I just now need to take it and insert it in my assets in Paminga. And that's what we're going to do today. So I am blessed to have 2 monitors. I'm going to pull my marketing brief over to my other monitor, and then I'm just going to focus in platform. All right, let's jump in, shall we? I am going to go ahead and start creating. I want to preface this by saying I do have a program template that I could clone that has all of my pre-created assets and my flows and things, but I really wanted to show everyone how fast it is, even if you don't take that approach. So that would typically be what I do, but today I'm just gonna put everything together live. So I've navigated to my series folder in my Paminga instance, and I'm going to go ahead and create a marketing campaign folder for my second session in this series. As Michael mentioned, there will be 5 sessions. So I'm just going to name it, matching with my existing naming cadence. I'm going to copy the name that marketing gave me because I like good here. And now I have the option to automatically create a campaign in my CRM. This is very cool because I don't have to pre-create the campaign in my CRM. I can edit the required fields on my campaign rather than having to create it from my map, go back into my CRM and edit. So I'm just going to do that here. This campaign houses registrants and attendees for the second Inside Paminga webinar as part of a 5-part series. So this will automatically insert into my campaign description in Salesforce, which is nice. I've not had that option with other maps before. My type is webinar. I'm going to go ahead and put it as in progress because I am going to share the link for the registration page with all of you in the follow-up. So as of right now, when we publish the landing page, this campaign will be in progress. I'm going to put my start date as today. And I'm going to put my end date as the date of the webinar. I'm going to create my folder. And there's my folder. So now I'm going to go ahead and create child folders. I like to have my registration assets, which is where we'll be working today. So I'm just going to create that folder. All right. So registration assets created. Other folders I would create would be promotion assets, operational, which would include reports or any kind of additional flows. But we're going to be focused on registration assets today. And so now I'm going to start with creating my event. My event is going to, why I want to create this first is it really houses all my tokens that I'll be pulling into a lot of my assets, my autoresponder email, my landing page, and so forth. So this is where I want to start. And now, thanks to my handy dandy marketing campaign brief, I'm just going to copy and paste all the information that my marketing team has given me. So I'm giving it a name. I'm giving it a description. My event type is digital. I'm going to put my start time for 2026 at 11 a.m. And I'm going to put my end time for 45 minutes later. I'm going to put my registration deadline for the start time of my event, and I do want to set my time zone to be New York. My marketing team, which is Eastern, my marketing team's communicated my capacity is 150. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that. And then I'm going to add my link. I am going to add a category. We'll talk about why this matters down the road, but it is important to me that I add that correctly. And I am silly. I want to put my join link here. And then my registration link, my marketing team's already provided me the format of what they want that URL to look like. So I actually do have that ahead of time. But if I did not have that, if my marketing team did not tell me what they want that URL to look like, I could just put a placeholder here for now and update after we publish the landing page. I'm going to my access code. So I'm going to go ahead and put dial in information here. And then for more system requirements, I'm going to put in the additional information for my Google Meets. So more phone numbers and such. Now, these are things I'll be able to tokenize in my autoresponder email. There we go. So now when I go to my Finder, I'll see that I have my event here, my event that I've created for this effort. And now the next thing I want to move into is creating my autoresponder. So I am going to clone from a pre-approved email template that my marketing team is happy with. I'm just trying to stay in line with the process that they've designed. So I'm going to name this. And then we're going to go ahead and put that in. And I didn't put it in the right place, huzzah, but I can go ahead and easily move it to my registration assets folder. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to update my autoresponder email with tokens from my event. So I want to go ahead and put the name in my subject line of my event. And actually, I also have a global token. So let me show you guys this. So in Paminga, you can set global tokens at pretty much any you can set tokens at any asset level. So on my parent folder for my series, if I go to manage tokens, I have my series name here. So I'm able to break that out in spacing and lines and in my different assets. So I am going to go ahead and insert that token in this subject line as well. So I have the series name populated. So it makes more sense. And we are just going to do the same here. So we're just tokenizing. We love that. Series name. I want that. And then I want to colon. And then we'll go ahead and put in my session name, which is my event name. So you can see I have a number of tokens I can access here, but I'm really more focused on pulling from my event that I just created. So I'm going to insert my name. I want all of that to be bold. And then I am going to unbold that period because that will bother me as a recipient. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert my description from my event as well, which is really nice because it's just built in for me. So my description to let people know after they sign up what the session will include. Be bold, be unbold. All right, and then last but not least, I'm going to pull in my session information. So my details, I'm going to insert my date and time first. So again, everything is pulling from that event object. It is so nice that it's its own object. So my start time is what I want to insert here. And then this is affected by my browser. And then I'm going to also insert my join link. URL. Perfect. Another thing I really like about Paminga that I was not able to do before is I can insert emojis straight from here. I'm not Googling what is the special code that I can put in a token that I can then reference. I can just straight up insert it. So I think for this, I'm going to use my little clock. And then I think for my join link, I'll just use an arrow. Who doesn't love emojis? People don't, I guess, but I do. All right, so I'm happy with that. I have my subject line set. I have my token set. I do need to adjust my header. So I am, again, going to go ahead and insert tokens. So this way, if I do adjust anything on my event name, oh, you know what? I want to go on the top. I want my pre-header to be my series name. That's what I want. And then I want my header to be my session name. So that little thing that I just clicked that showed all those colors, that's my brand kit. So you can see everything in here is pre-branded for me. If I insert additional elements, I can't think and talk at the same time. If I insert additional elements, it'll automatically update for my branding that I've set in the back end of Paminga. Now, if I preview this, I want more spacing there. I feel like you need more spacing. So I want it to be, let's see. I'm happy with that. Cool. And now last but not least, I'm going to insert my ICS. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm always flipping letters around, but I want to insert my ICS file so that people can automatically add this to their calendars. And that's my autoresponder email. That's it. I have no idea how long that took me, but it felt really short. I also have this checked as transactional. So if you're a Marketo user, that's the equivalent of the operational setting in Marketo. So I've got that checked. I'm going to click save. That's it. I am good to go. My autoresponder email is created. So next step is going to be my form. So again, I would be utilizing global assets typically, but I want to show you all for the sake of this experience just how quick and easy it is to create a form in Paminga. But typically I would be using a global webinar form that I would tailor my automation on the back end to that form specifically and submit it on a certain slug, URL slug. But for the sake of this, we are going to create a form. All right, so I'm going to name this. I'm going to try to spell in front of all of you. That's probably giving me the most anxiety about this. But hey, I wasn't hired for my spelling. If I was, please don't tell me now. All right, so when I created my form, I guess I am moving too fast. I'm in operator mode. When I create a new form, it automatically has a header for me that I can adjust, and then it does default to 3 fields displayed: email, first name, last name. Now, because I am in the habit of building global assets, I don't really want a header direct on my form. I'd rather do it on my landing page so that as I reuse a form, I'm not having to worry about any specific content written in the form that's specific to one effort. So I'm actually going to just delete my element that is representing, or that's for my header. So we'll drop that. And then I'm going to pull in the additional fields that I want to capture, and then I'll reorganize a little bit. So I want to pull in company name. I definitely want to ask for that. I also want to pull in title. And then I'm going to start rearranging because I like first name, last name first. Just a personal preference. So first name, last name, company name, job title. I do want to require all of these. I will allow for browser settings to pre-populate that information. And then I want to pull in a couple of more things. So I do want to capture country. I also want to capture state, but I only want to capture state for people who are submitting this form where their stated country value in the form is US. Now, how would I do that? I can come into conditions and I'm going to create a new experience. So in Paminga, you can conditionally display content, fields, pretty much anything. And so when you do create a conditional experience, it is an experience. So let's create an experience. So this is based on people who are in United States. So we're just going to add it as United States. And then I'm going to add my conditions. So I have my form fields here, and then I have the contact information. I'm going to select form fields because what I'm saying is I want the system to address what's actively being put in the form and not contact information that's already written back to my CRM. So, oh my good Lord. I'm going to select country, and then I'm basically saying if when they are touching this form, actively filling it out, if they set that field to United States, then I do want to display it. Otherwise, I want to just hide that field. So what Paminga is going to do, it's going to assess my experiences in the order of priority. So first thing it's going to do is say, hey, if it's in the United States, then I want it to be visible. If the state value, I'm sorry, the country value listed is not United States, and I just want you to hide that state field. It's not necessary to put it in front of those users. And then the last thing I'm going to do on my form is I'm building my form. I am going to add in an element from my library that contains my email consent content. So basically a checkbox that does map back to my GDPR consent granted field. I love that I don't have to type this every time. I don't have to remember anything about it. I just insert it. And then I do want to adjust my submit button. Let's put this as a register for now. So when I was talking about the brand kit earlier, I could go down a rabbit hole about this. I'm going to try not to, but I really do love the brand kit feature in here. If I wanted to come in here, I can select from any of Paminga's primary, secondary, or tri-terry colors that's set in the back end. And I could say, hey, I want my button to be green if I wanted to do that. Now, I don't want to do that, so I can easy peasy just revert back to the default that's set in my brand kit, which I appreciate. And then that's all I need for fields. I like a centered button. I could do left, I could do right. I mean, sky's kind of the limit here. So the other thing I want to do is, now that I've got my field selected correctly, I want to set my actions. This is so cool because I don't have to create a separate workflow. It truly does all happen in one screen for me. So I have a couple of different things I'm going to do here. First, I want to create a conditional experience for the form completion experience based on specific information captured about a person. So I want to set my default experience first, and then I'll create that conditional experience. The default content on creating a form, it'll just, your thank you message is thank you for submitting this form. Now my marketing team has gotten a little more specific, and what they want to say here on my default experience, so they want to say, thanks for signing up. You're in. Keep an eye on your inbox. So I'm happy with that. I think I'm going to leave that black. All right, so now I'm going to create a conditional experience, because what we'd like to do is we'd like to surface a downloadable asset to applicable personas that we think it will be most impactful for. So I'm going to do map migration guide. Practitioner. Oh no, there's that spelling again. Practitioner. She did it. All right, so first things first, I'm going to set my conditions. Again, I am going to look at the form field for job title. Because what I'm saying is when this form is submitted, if they meet any of this information, any of this criteria, then I want to display a different confirmation message for them. And this is going to be based on job title information. So I'm going to say if job title matches any of the following keywords, manager, manage, specialist, and I could paste this, but I don't know. I just want you guys to watch me because I want you to know I know how to spell. I don't know. All right. So if my job title contains any of these, which we identify internally as somebody who's a practitioner, then we want to display a custom thank you message. I could choose to redirect to a different URL, but I want to just embed something within this display. So now I'm going to copy my handy dandy marketing content and say you're in. And then I am going to link my Paminga's marketing automation platform migration guide here. So my marketing team has already provided me a URL that has UTMs within it. If I did not have that information, I could set that directly in the screen, but I do have that information here. Another thing I could do, which I think is very cool, is I could actually just directly link to the asset itself in Paminga. So it doesn't have to be, let's see. No, she's lost. Anyway, this is where I want to be. I should know. I could actually just say, hey, I want to link directly to the PDF. I don't want to send them to another form, which actually I think I might do because it makes sense. They just submitted this form. Why would I want them to submit another form? So let's do that. I just want to insert that. And so now what I can do for people who have a title that matches one of my practitioner keywords, I can automatically offer them our marketing automation migration guide, which will be impactful to them because they're the people likely that will be auditing a system, recreating programs, and so forth. So I think that'd be helpful for them. So that's my conditional form completion experience. I'm set with that. That was super easy. Now I'm going to move into my automated action. So as I was saying before, I don't have to go create a separate flow. I could just have things happen direct in my form. I can have my actions set here. So I have two different types of actions I want to implement. One is global actions, which means it will happen for everyone who submits the form, regardless of their information. And then I do have a conditional action that I want to apply for anyone who meets certain criteria that submits the form. So those are not exclusive. Global actions apply to everyone. Conditional actions only apply to those that qualify. So let's take a look at my global actions. So first things first, I want to send them my autoresponder we just created. Then I also want to send a Slack notification internally so that we are notified when anyone submits the form. I want to register them for my event. I want to hide my little Google Meet share. There it is. And there's one more action that I want to take here. Oh, I want to add them to a list. That's right. We have a marketing list internally that contains all registrations, so I want to go ahead and add them to the list. And that's it. That's all I have to do here. I have global actions. I just set them here, and I can move on. So I'm going to apply that. And next, I have a conditional action that I do want to implement. So this, let's name this decision maker nurture. So ultimately what I want to do here is I want to anyone with a title containing any of the following keywords. We're going to get creative with our keyword here. Anyone with a title, a director title, or a VP title, we interpret that to be a decision maker. Then I want to apply the following action to add them to a drip series. And then I just click apply. So what I've done here is I've created a conditional experience for form submission, whether we're surfacing applicable content or not, additional content or not. I've added my global actions to register everyone, add them to a form, notify us internally. And then I have a conditional action to add decision makers to a specific nurture. And I'm done. I'm done with my form. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that. And next, last and certainly not least, is my landing page. So again, I am going to clone a pre-approved landing page that my marketing team likes the design on. I think in marketing ops, we know that we try to keep our marketing team happy. So I will adhere. All right, so my landing page, IP workflow registration. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the right place to put it this time. I'm not going to move it after I create it. We are evolving. Oh, we love that for us. All right, so I've created my landing page and I'm going to hop in. So now I just need to take the information that's in my marketing brief, copy and paste it over here, do some tokenization, and then I can publish and go live. So I am going to go ahead and start moving information over. Let's see if I can get through this without you guys having to watch me type. No promises. No promises. All right, so I want that heading 3. No, I think I want it a little smaller than that. I'm going to go ahead and bold it, center it. I am also not going to forget about my pre-header and header like I tried to on my confirmation email. And I'm going to go ahead and tokenize those. So again, I'm going to have my pre-header be my series name. And I want my header to be my session name, which I'm going to pull from my marketing event. I am going to go ahead and make all of that white. And I'm going to bold it. All right, I'm happy with that. And then another cool thing that I do love is that it does show the content that's actually in my token as I'm referencing it. Like it's not that little bracket experience. Ex Marketo trauma, maybe, I don't know. All right, so now I'm also going to pull in my event date and time from my event that I've created. My start time. Make sure that's showing up as I want. Now you'll see I have 2 different versions of the banner, and you may be wondering why I have that. I have a version that will display on desktop, and then I have a version that will display on mobile and tablet. And the reason that we've set it up this way is basically that image rendering, when you start to kind of shrink it, that image can get a little crazy, and we don't want that. We all work in this space, and I know I'd catch it if I was doing that. So we're just kind of hedging our bets there. So this banner that's currently showing as editable is my desktop banner. I'm actually now going to click into my tablet view, my tablet preview, which will allow me to edit this. So you can see that this shows if I'm editing my tablet view, this is not visible. And so I'm going to do the same thing. My folder tokens, my series name, my header. Oh, I already had the color. Sometimes I just get to click in, you know? All right, and I want my series name, my session name. I want to make these bold, and I want to make them white. All right, and then last but not least, I'm going to tokenize this as well. And I want this to also be my start time from my event that I created. Start time. I want you to be white. Sneaky, sneaky. And I kind of feel like that's really small. Or maybe my eyes are old. Or maybe both. 2 things can be true. Okay, cool. So my headers are good. You can see if I, again, toggle back and forth on my preview by device, that it'll indicate to me which one will reflect per device. Now I am going to preview it because I feel like I might want more spacing on my banner. Yeah, like well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Let's go ahead and update my copy in my agenda area. Again, respecting what my marketing team is giving me, lest they yell at me. No, they don't yell at me. All right. Ooh, that's way too small. All right. So I've got all this in here. I'm going to bullet. My browser's fighting me today. Am I alone in this battle fighting my browser? No, maybe. So I'm just going to go back and reset my line structure so that when I do implement my bullets, everything cooperates as I expect. All right. So this is my agenda. I do want to bullet this. Now, a cool thing that I can do in here, I mean, it's a small feature, but it's a fun feature. I can adjust my bullet color, which I've never been able to do. So if I wanted to come in here and say, hey, I actually want my bullets to be blue for my brand kit or green for my brand kit, I can absolutely do that. I think let's be whimsical today. Let's go blue. Let's go blue. And then I have my speaker bio down here. I actually am going to pull in a different version of this. So in Paminga, in our builders, we have a number of different things that you have control over. It's your elements, which is your singular element. You have a row, which kind of groups things together in a certain format. And then you have your entire section. And then you have the entire email. So all through these, I have the ability to adjust my margins, my patterns by all of these different elements. So in order to rip out my speaker bio, no offense, Michael, I will be adding it back. I am going to delete this row, and then I am actually going to add a new row. And I'm going to add an element from my library. Oops, maybe I saved that as a row. All right, let's add a new row. New row. She sure did save it as a row. That gets smaller. No. Oh, you did have to watch me type. I'm embarrassed. Just kidding. All right, so let's get back to black here. And then I do want to make this bigger so my old eyes can read it. Let's go ahead and pull that back. I do want to go ahead and add, what do I want to add here? Let's add a divider line. Divider line, and let's make my divider line blue. I do want to shorten my width and center it. And maybe I want to make it a little thicker. Yeah, I like that. And then I am actually going to move this up above this row. No, I don't want you there. I want you in a different place. No, maybe that's not what I want to do. I'm just in operator mode now. So thanks for bearing with me. I want to move this row. I want to move you down here. That's what I want to do. And now I want you to come right there. Do what I want you to do. Do you guys sing to yourselves all day? Is that just me? We're going to pull this back in. I want my divider line to go here. Yeah, but I don't want it that big. I want it to be like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so now I'm going to adjust my form header. As I said earlier, I do like to have it right on the page because I like to use global forms, but I did create a local form just for the purposes of this exercise. So I'm going to throw in my form header. I am going to throw in my form description. I want this to be smaller. Actually, I do think I liked it small. And then I'm just going to pull my form in here. Okay. That's it. So I'm going to save. I'm going to go ahead and add my hosting domain. My marketing team wants to use the events.paminga. Events.paminga. And then I am going to set my path, and I'm going to adjust my page title and my page description for SEO. Who doesn't love a fully filled out marketing brief? I know I do. because I have one and I like that a lot. All right, so I've got my page title, I've got my page description, I've got my path set, I've got everything that I need. I'm going to go ahead and publish, and I'm going to go ahead and open. I'm done. I'm done. 32 minutes. Look at us go. And that is the end. So let's go ahead and open it for questions if we have any. I'm actually going to go ahead and fill out my form so I can show you my autoresponder when it comes through. Marketing and if there are questions, I am working on 2 screens, so I cannot see. So please, anyone from the Paminga team, I'll just keep talking because you know this. Thank you.
Yeah, Grace. Hi, everyone. If I haven't met everyone, I'm Amanda. I'm on our sales and partnerships team here at Paminga. If anyone has any questions at all for us, either feel free to put those in the chat directly, and we will have an open Q&A throughout our Paminga team here to help address those questions. But also, if you have a question and want to verbally ask, feel free to just do a quick thumbs up button or some sort of button, and we'll get to you and have you unmute yourself and ask your question live. So feel free.
Thanks, Amanda. As we're doing that, I got my autoresponder. I don't have a space right here, so I'm going to add that. I am going to save. And then I guess I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can figure out how. I'm happy to reshare again, but that was it, start to finish. That was like 32 minutes.
Yeah, and I think you could have gone faster if you just cloned things.
It would have been a lot faster if I
cheater.
just used my program template. That's not cheating, that's working smarter. But I did want to work harder in front of all of these people today to show, even in Paminga, if I work harder, it's still easier.
Right. So I see a question about how do we capture UTMs? So Paminga automatically captures UTM tags on every page view. As somebody arrives at the first page view of a visit, Paminga creates a visit. It uses those UTMs and or refer URL, including like a Google Click ID, et cetera, to categorize every visit with a marketing channel and a source. So then everything that happens during that visit is within the context of that marketing channel and source. You can also use UTMs within a visit. So, for example, there was a homepage banner on our website, it's probably gone by now because it was automatic, to register for this webinar. So if somebody landed from a third-party location, they're going to get a marketing channel and source based on the UTMs, and then they're going to get additional UTMs within the visit. So, importantly, Paminga never loses track of UTMs. You don't have to do weird things with custom fields to track UTMs over time. And because every visit and everything that happens in a visit is tied to a marketing channel and source, it means some pretty cool attribution reporting that we'll show somewhere down the line in this webinar series. Any integration with Salesforce campaigns? Yes, deep integration. So our Salesforce integration is excellent. When she created the marketing campaign folder at the start of this, there was a checkbox that she showed that says create a campaign in CRM. So that will automatically create a Salesforce campaign, and then there's an action in Paminga to create campaign members. So as people register for the form, fill out the form, you could do it in the form as an action in the form, but you probably don't want to. You probably want a centralized workflow for processing to handle that. But so as people register, you can add them to the campaign and set their status. You can also set any campaign member custom field values at will, from the form submission, from any workflow, et cetera, et cetera. What's next?
Did we already speak to capturing UTMs for people arriving and registering?
Yeah, thought I just answered that.
I'm just rereading. I'm catching up. I was doing my own thing for a minute. I'm back now.
Yeah, all good. So maybe, I don't know, she's asking about reporting features. I don't think we're in line to like show off a bunch of stuff right now, but that's up to you, Grace.
We actually just got some additional questions on the form that I'd love to talk about. So multi-page forms, and then also security features on form like CAPTCHA, spam detections, things like that.
Right. So Paminga's Form Builder supports multi-page forms out of the box. You can make a form with 35 pages if you want to, or 130. There's no limit. And those multi-page forms allow for conditional navigation throughout them. So you can route people to just the pages of the form you want based on kind of anything. Any standard or custom field value at the account or contact or lead level, sync from Salesforce based on their language, where the geography, based on device size, and based on the values that they've submitted in the form up to that point. Very, very cool. Multi-page forms capture partial form submissions by default, though you can disable it. If somebody gets partway through a multi-page form and then comes back for a new session a week later, Paminga will auto-resume them from where they left off. It's pretty nice. As for security features on forms, yes, you can add CAPTCHA into our forms. Spam detection is decent, targeted for stepping up the levels in the future. Keep them coming. What's that?
The next question: templates allow us to just change text and don't redo every form, automation, landing page, email. I mean, do it for one event and then just customize text and pics. Yes.
You can. So there's a few things. You can clone any existing form, landing page, email, entire marketing campaign folder with workflows. So just like clonable programs in Marketo, we call them marketing campaigns. You can clone the entire folder and everything in it, and then just alter your token values. Like in this example that she just walked through, she used an event, and she used, the event has a name and a start time and end time and a registration URL. Those are just token values now in in everything, in the emails, the landing page, everywhere. So if you clone that entire marketing campaign folder, you're cloning that event with it. So now you've got a new event, and you just go through and change these things. Now, Grace tells me that's not best practice in MOPS to do it that way, but that's how I would do it, because maybe I don't adhere to best practices. Then further, you can also, the form, landing page, email builder, and our call to action builder, you might have noticed there's sections and rows and elements. At every level, you can save those as templates. So you can save any section to your library, any row to your library, and then just reuse it as you choose.
Also, we'll call out as a practitioner and end user, what's really nice about templates inside of Paminga, especially the overarching theme of enterprise grade permissions, is that there are specific users on your team who have the ability to create global templates. And then you might have actual users on your team who only have the authority to actually use templates and cannot create templates or update templates. And so you as a user will actually choose what those people on your teams have in terms of their roles, permissions, responsibilities. And so you can make sure that people are adhering not only to the brand kits that you're styling when you set up your Paminga account, but also are referencing the content and the design that you create and have them leverage as templates, so that they're not being able to kind of go off the bat and utilize things that aren't approved by the hierarchy on your team. So that's a really nice key feature of Paminga too.
Yeah, the enterprise permissions they're very extensive. So you can decide who can modify brand kits, so no one's just in there messing up your brand kits. All kinds of excellence there. Anything else?
Yeah, we have a couple more minutes. If anybody else has any questions, please do throw them in the chat.
So I think, since I don't see any more questions, I'll just riff for a moment about some things that'll come in webinars down the road from now. Number one, we talk about our Salesforce integration having all these deep capabilities. Our Dynamics integration is on par with that. So D365 and Salesforce are, they're pretty much one-to-one in their capabilities. We constantly iterate and improve on those. They are very well battle tested. They actually survive. We used to be, before Paminga, we had another brand, and we did pretty well with that brand. We rebuilt the platform, but we kept a lot of the CRM integration core because it was deeply battle tested across 12 plus years. And so anyway, pretty great stuff there. We integrate with leads, contacts, accounts, opportunities, campaigns, campaign members, and custom objects. It's quite powerful, where I'm not a Marketo person. My understanding is that Marketo just syncs all your people into Salesforce as leads or something like that, which is kind of interesting to me. In Paminga, you're totally in control of when you create a lead, when you do things. Depth of integration with Salesforce campaign plus campaign member object is awesome and so exciting to hear. I'm glad you like it, Lauren. It's really like, I'm going to just make a big blanket statement. We're new to the market, and the market kind of expects for some reason that we're not legit or something. And I shouldn't put that way, that we can't really have a great, incredibly deep Salesforce integration. We do. And it's not just that. Paminga's got depth and breadth that will, it's like the most common question we get. Like, it effectively is, are you guys really on par with like a Marketo or this or that? And the answer is yeah. And in fact, I'd say we definitely exceed them in multiple areas. And we're also fast and hungry. So there's that. What's all that from Grace? A lot of words. I'm not going to read that.
I'm going to read it. I forgot to come back to why adding a category to an event in Paminga, how that can play out downstream. So ultimately, we will have a series registration page for the Inside Paminga series, which will allow people to register either for all sessions in the series or select sessions. And by tagging my event in Paminga, I can ensure that my series registration form automatically updates because Paminga supports out of the box series registrations.
Right. Yeah, we call it upcoming events. So there's an element you can add on a form, on a landing page, in an email, in a call to action. Called upcoming events. So if you've got 30 events coming up in the next whatever, or 10 events, you can say, show me, it's a dynamically generated upcoming events listing that you can filter. You can limit the max number of events that show up. You can filter that event listing by category. You can content manage and style the way each event looks. You can show them as a table. You can show them as cards. Cards look cool to me. It's really, really slick. So as say, like you're scheduling new events in say Zoom or whatever, and they're syncing into Paminga automatically. If you've got a dynamic event listing on your homepage, it just updates based on, it's filtered by category, filtered by, show me only events in the next 7 days or next 30 days in this category. Boom, your homepage is updating as you schedule new events if you want it to, right? That event listing can be behind a button that you embed. I'm saying homepage. It could be any page in your website. It could be any Paminga landing page. It's really slick. Doesn't exist in Marketo. We call this our call to action builder. You can have a button that says check out upcoming events, and that gets embedded on your homepage like a form gets embedded. But that button triggers a pop-up, and that pop-up can have a form in it. That pop-up can be a dynamic event listing. It's really, really something. You should, if it's just, we build things that make life easier. That's what I think. Anyway, and it's a big, huge time saver. Very fast build. That was great. Are there specific AI capabilities? So we are, excuse me, I had to clear my throat. So we are building agents right now. So you might have noticed our landing page, form builder, email builder, and you didn't see our CTA builder. They look exactly the same. They have the exact same layout and capabilities, right? They are literally 95% of them is actually the same exact tool. An underlying tool we call our layout builder. So we're working with an AI agent now, teaching it how to work with our layout builder, and that was like cheating because it'll be able to work. You'll be able to talk to Paminga and have it build out your landing pages, your forums, your calls to action, your emails. Now, on the other side of the coin, this is easier to show in a demo than talk about live, but every single place where you would set up conditions to do anything conditional in Paminga, you always use one tool. We just, this might break your Marketo brain. We call it a segment builder, right? You're gonna have to, slight adjustment from what you think of as a segment. For us, a segment is just a set of conditions. And those conditions could drive dynamic content, right? Like I'm gonna show or hide this section in this form, this email, this landing page. I'm gonna use, I might build I'll use conditions to create an audience for a workflow. I'll use conditions to determine when a workflow will branch. I'll use conditions to determine when a goal is achieved in a workflow or a drip series. I'll use conditions to determine when a lead score is adjusted or when an alert is triggered. Every single place you do anything conditional in Paminga, it's always the same tool. And we're building an AI agent right now that knows how to build Paminga segments. So that's going to be like cheating. It's smart for us as a developer team. I'm a technical guy. I run the developer team myself. when we get this AI agent live, which is looking really good, I don't have an ETA right now, but it's looking really good. When this AI agent knows how to work with Paminga segments, it's like cheating. Suddenly you get the ability to create alerts with AI, lead scoring rules with AI, audiences and branch points with AI, campaign and workflow goals with AI, dynamic content for based on if they meet these conditions or those conditions. AI is because because that one tool is used everywhere. When the agent knows how to do it right, and we're having great success with it, it's just not ready for prime time yet. Suddenly AI is able to help you do like a truckload of stuff in Paminga. So I don't know. If you want to ask a follow-up question, go to town.
Well, we don't have any additional questions, and we're actually a couple minutes over time. So I do want to be respectful of the people that registered for this session, and we'll share contact information via email as well. You all know how to contact us through our website or directly on LinkedIn. If you have additional questions, I think Amanda, Michael, or myself, we'd all be happy to answer. So with that, I think let's go ahead and wrap it up. Give this team back the last 12 minutes before I'm sure their next meetings they have scheduled. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. This was fantastic, and a recording will be sent out as well as that registration page we just created. So hope to see you in the next session.
Yeah, that's live. It's live now. Love
it is. Yeah, if you were quick and you saw the slug, you can just go right to it.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Thanks
Bye, everyone.
everyone. Bye.